I never expected to find my husband's ex-wife standing in our driveway at 7 a.m., screaming like a banshee. But there was Vanessa, designer handbags swinging wildly as she gestured at our newly built home, her perfectly highlighted hair practically bristling with rage. "This house belongs to me," she shrieked, her Jimmy Choo heels sinking into our freshly laid grass. "Michael promised we'd build our dream home here. You stole my life, you little homewrecker." I'm Sophie Anderson, 35, CEO of Anderson Construction Group, one of the largest development companies on the East Coast. But Vanessa didn't know that. All she knew was that her ex-husband Michael had remarried a woman she assumed was just a simple interior decorator. Her words, not mine. "Vanessa," I said calmly, tightening the belt of my silk robe, "it's a bit early for this discussion. Why don't you come back at a reasonable hour?" "Don't patronize me." She stalked closer, waving her phone. "I saw the pictures on social media. This is exactly the house Michael and I planned. The Mediterranean style, the courtyard, even the stupid infinity pool. You copied everything." I couldn't help but smile. "Actually, I designed this house. Every detail, every feature." Liar. These plans were mine. Michael and I worked with an architect years ago. Anderson and Associates. I interrupted smoothly. "Yes, that was my firm. I remember your consultation well. You wanted a modest 10,000 square foot mansion with gold-plated bathroom fixtures and a helicopter pad." Vanessa's perfectly Botoxed forehead tried to wrinkle in confusion. "Your firm?" "Google me," I suggested, enjoying the moment. "Sophie Anderson, CEO of Anderson Construction Group. The company that owns this entire development, including the land you're currently trespassing on." I watched as she frantically typed on her phone, her red-lacquered nails clicking against the screen. The color drained from her face as she scrolled through the search results. This is impossible," she stammered. "You're just an interior decorator. Michael met you when you were helping his sister renovate." "I do enjoy interior design," I agreed. "It's a hobby. Running a $200 million construction and development company is my actual job." The story of how we got here is quite interesting, actually. I'd built Anderson Construction from the ground up, starting with small renovation projects and gradually expanding into luxury home development. When Michael's sister Kate hired me to redesign her home, she had no idea who I really was. She just liked my design aesthetic and assumed I was a local decorator. I kept quiet about my true role because it was refreshing to be judged on my creative skills alone, not my business success. When she introduced me to her recently divorced brother Michael, we clicked immediately. He was a brilliant pediatric surgeon who cared more about helping kids than status symbols, the complete opposite of his ex-wife. But Michael said you work from home." Vanessa was still struggling to process the revelation. "I do." I nodded toward our house. "My office is in there, running operations for 15 development projects across 3 states. Would you like a tour? The view from the CEO's desk is quite spectacular." That's when Michael appeared in the doorway, drawn by the commotion. "Vanessa, what are you doing here?" "She's come to claim ownership of our house," I explained, trying not to laugh at the absurdity. "Apparently we stole her dream home design." Michael ran a hand through his sleek-mussed hair. "Vanessa, we never even finalized those plans. You kept changing your mind about everything, running up astronomical architect fees." "Because I wanted it to be perfect," she snapped. "And now SHE has built exactly what I wanted." Actually, I pulled out my phone and pulled up some images. These are the original renderings from your consultation 3 years ago. Notice the differences? You wanted a pseudo-Versailles monstrosity with enough gold leaf to bankrupt a small country. What we've built is a sustainable, energy-efficient modern Mediterranean home that actually fits the landscape. Vanessa squinted at the images, her expression darkening. Those were just preliminary ideas. The final version would have been never built, Michael finished. Because you couldn't make a single decision without changing it 10 times. Do you know how much money we wasted on endless revisions? Money you owed me. Vanessa turned on him. But instead of giving me the house I deserved, you ran off with this. Successful CEO? I suggested helpfully. Builder of luxury homes? Woman who actually knows how to execute a vision instead of just demanding impossible things. That hit a nerve. Vanessa's face flushed red beneath her expensive foundation. You think you're so clever, don't you? Well, I have news for you. Michael promised me this property in our divorce settlement. Now it was my turn to laugh. No, he promised you first right of refusal if the land ever went up for sale. But Anderson Construction bought this entire development 2 years before your divorce was even filed. Would you like to see those documents too? Michael stepped forward, his patience clearly wearing thin. Vanessa, enough. You need to leave. Now. Or what? She challenged. You'll call the police on your ex-wife? No need. I held up my phone. Security is already on their way. One of the perks of owning the development, we have excellent response times. As if on cue, a black SUV pulled up and 2 professionally dressed security officers stepped out. Vanessa's bravado deflated slightly. This isn't over, she hissed, grabbing her designer bag. I'll sue. I'll sue who? I asked pleasantly. The international construction company with an army of lawyers? The ex-husband who has documentation of every penny spent on your abandoned house plans? Or maybe the security team about to escort you off private property. She stormed off to her Mercedes, nearly breaking a heel in her haste. As she peeled out of the driveway, Michael turned to me with an apologetic look. I'm so sorry about that. I should have known she'd react badly when she saw the house on social media. I kissed him softly. Don't apologize. Some people can't handle others achieving what they could only dream about. But Vanessa wasn't done with us yet. Over the next few weeks, she launched a social media campaign claiming I had stolen her intellectual property by building her house. She posted the old design renderings, conveniently editing out the rejected, client indecision stamps on them. Her followers, mostly other wealthy divorcees and social climbers, ate it up. They began leaving nasty comments on Anderson Construction's social media, claiming we exploited clients' ideas. Time to set the record straight. I called a press conference, ostensibly to announce Anderson Construction's new sustainable building initiative. Every local news outlet attended, eager to cover the innovative projects we were launching. Before we discuss our new developments, I'd like to address some recent social media accusations about stolen designs. The reporters perked up, sensing drama. I clicked to display a series of images on the large screen behind me. These are the original renderings that have been circulating online, I explained. And these, I clicked again, are the complete client files, showing multiple rejections, endless revision requests, and ultimately, abandonment of the project due to client indecision. Another click. And these are the actual architectural plans for my home, developed 2 years after these consultations, showing completely different engineering, materials, and environmental considerations. The reporters scribbled furiously as I continued. Anderson Construction has built its reputation on integrity and innovation. We don't need to steal anyone's ideas, especially not outdated, impractical ones that were rejected by our own design team. The final blow came when I revealed documents showing that Vanessa had never paid the architectural fees for her countless revision requests. In fact, I concluded, the individual making these accusations still owes our firm over $50,000 in unpaid consultation fees. We've been quite generous in not pursuing collection, but perhaps that policy needs review. The story made all the local papers. Spurned ex-wife's claims backfire. Construction CEO reveals unpaid debts. Vanessa's social media went mysteriously quiet, but she had one last card to play. She showed up at Michael's hospital, causing a scene in the pediatric ward. You're letting her humiliate me, she screamed as security led her away. After everything I did for you. Michael, who had just finished a 12-hour surgery, was livid. Everything you did for me? You mean maxing out our credit cards? Demanding endless house revisions we couldn't afford? Or maybe you mean cheating with your tennis instructor? That part of their divorce hadn't made it into the society pages. Vanessa's carefully cultivated image as the wronged wife conveniently omitted her own indiscretions. I made a mistake, she wailed. I was unhappy. You were always working, Saving children's lives. He cut her off. While you were spending money, we didn't have on things we didn't need. Sophie built her own success, while you were trying to spend your way into happiness. That's the difference between you. After she was escorted out, Michael called me. I think it's time, he said wearily. I knew what he meant. We'd been holding back out of kindness, but Vanessa had crossed too many lines. The next day, our lawyer sent her a comprehensive cease and desist letter, along with a bill for all outstanding architectural fees plus interest. We also included documentation of her trespassing, harassment, and the hospital incident. Pay the fees and stop the defamation, the letter concluded, or face legal consequences. Her lawyer contacted us within hours. Apparently, Vanessa's current husband, a wealthy older man she'd married 6 months after the divorce, was less than pleased to learn about her unpaid debts and public behavior. She paid the fees. The social media posts came down. The harassment stopped. A month later, we hosted a housewarming party. Our home, the one I had actually designed, not the gaudy monstrosity Vanessa had wanted, was filled with friends, family, and business associates. Kate, Michael's sister, pulled me aside during the party. I still can't believe I hired a famous CEO to decorate my living room, she laughed. You hired someone who loved design. I corrected her. The CEO part was just my day job. Well, thank God you were both, she said. Michael needed someone who could match him in success and ambition. Vanessa just wanted the lifestyle without the work. Looking around at our home, with its sustainable materials, energy-efficient systems, and tasteful design, I had to agree. This wasn't just a house, it was a testament to earned success and genuine vision. Later that evening, as Michael and I stood by the infinity pool Vanessa had claimed was her idea, despite not knowing the first thing about proper grading or water systems, he wrapped his arms around me. You know what the best part of all this is? He asked. That your ex-wife finally got the message? No, he smiled. That I found someone who builds things instead of just demanding them. In every possible way. The next week, I received an interesting email. Vanessa's current husband wanted to consult about building a new vacation home. Without his wife's input. I smiled as I wrote my response. I'm sorry, but Anderson Construction is no longer accepting clients who can't make timely payments or respect professional boundaries. I'm sure you understand. Sometimes success is the best revenge. But setting firm boundaries is a close second. A year later, Anderson Construction had expanded into 3 more states. Michael's pediatric surgery department had opened a new wing, funded partly by profits from my sustainable building initiative. And Vanessa? She'd moved to Florida with husband number 3, presumably to find new houses to covet. Our home stood as a testament to what can be achieved when vision meets capability, when success is earned rather than demanded. The infinity pool reflected the sunset each evening, its engineering a quiet reminder that true luxury comes from understanding how things work, not just how they look. I keep the cease and desist letter framed in my home office, next to my business awards and architectural licenses. It reminds me that sometimes the biggest victories come not from fighting battles, but from being so successful that your opponents defeat themselves. Michael occasionally hears updates about Vanessa through mutual acquaintances. She's apparently still telling anyone who'll listen that she could have had a house like ours. She's right, in a way. She could have had something similar. If she'd been willing to do the work, learn the skills, build the success. Instead, she got exactly what she earned. Nothing but a story about what might have been. As for me, I got everything. The dream house, the successful company, the loving husband, and the satisfaction of knowing it was all earned through hard work and real talent. Sometimes the best response to someone demanding what's yours is to simply prove why it was never theirs to begin with. And that infinity pool Vanessa was so obsessed with? It's not just beautiful, it's an engineering marvel of water recycling and energy efficiency. Something she'd never understand or appreciate. Because that's the thing about success, it's not just about having nice things. It's about understanding how to create them, maintain them, make them truly yours. Vanessa wanted the end result without the journey. She wanted the dream house without understanding what makes a house work. She wanted the perfect life without putting in the effort to build it. But life doesn't work that way. True success, like a well-built home, requires a strong foundation, careful planning, and the skills to execute the vision. I built all of that, my company, my home, my life. And no amount of screaming in driveways or social media tantrums could change that fundamental truth. Sometimes the best way to handle someone trying to claim what's yours is to simply let them reveal their own emptiness, their own lack of substance, their own inability to build anything real. Because at the end of the day, you can't fake true success. You can't demand someone else's achievements. You can only build your own. And that's exactly what I did, one project, one design, one success at a time. The view from our infinity pool reminds me of that every single day. Thanks for watching. See you again in the next video. Stay stunned.